Alright, hello YouTube, Jonathan Cook here. Let me just adjust this real quick. How are we doing tonight? Welcome to the first episode of Game Talk. I just felt like doing a odd little podcast because I wanted to see how well it would go. But anyways, what I want to talk about very loosely, kind of much about it. What I've seen are the new The Last of Us and the new Resident Evil 2. So the first thing, I'm sure everybody's seen the new Last of Us 2 just came out, and the game looks really interesting. Like, the whole thing is just like, it's cool. The story seems good, the gameplay seems good, everything seems like it's gonna be good. But my question is it gonna be? And it's really is my question. Because, like, the problem is, like, a lot of times when a game is made and a game looks too good to be true, lots of times it is. I'm not saying this will be the case on The Last of Us 2, but I said, I don't know much what I'm talking about. I don't know how long this has been in development for. It's been in development for a long time, but that doesn't mean anything either. A game been developed for 10 years and it can still be horrible. I mean, I hope it's going to be good. I really do. I hope the game's going to be a masterpiece. It gets awards left and right for it being a work of art. But at the same time, you got to look at the opposite spectrum and wonder, is it going to be everything they're saying it's going to be? Is it going to be a fun experience that you're glad you played? Or is it going to be annoying? Is it be hard and frustrating? They showed like really cool combat. Like, is that combat only available as certain sequences, or is that how you actively fight? And they showed her picking up weapons on the fly, which is really cool. I mean, it's realistic. Is that going to be in the final version? Ain't it going to be in the final version, or is it all going to be changed? I mean, there's so many questions about how this could change from what we see now to what is finished. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and this how it looks is what it's going to be. But like, there's a lot of games that I looked really into, and I was like, this would be cool, this would be awesome. I played it, and it was horrible. I mean, the last game I remember that was like really hyped was No Man's Sky. I never played it, but I heard a lot about it. And it was horrible. No Man's Sky bombed because a lot of what they promised, a lot of what they showed wasn't in the final version. So keep your expectations low. Because, like, you don't know what the final version is going to be. I mean, I hope it's going to be cool. I hope it's going to be this story explaining Ellie and explaining, the world we're in now and everything about it. I hope it's going to be this amazing story that's going to explain a lot. But at the same time, you got to worry that it's not going to be. It's going to be this mess that we were led to believe certain things and it never happened. So I really do hope that The Last of Us 2 is going to be what we're thinking it's going to be and not just a mess. But I won't know to actually play it. And, Resident Evil 2, the remake, that looks cool. Again, when I've seen the gameplay of on YouTube, they've changed the opening sequence and they changed Leon and all of that. It looks more realistic, which is cool. Like the one scene where he was in the hallway, it was all like blood covered. It was dark. There was water. Like it was creepy and it was realistic. But like a question I have is like the reason Resident Evil in general was good because it built suspense. Like 1 and 2, 3 to a point, it built suspense around the environment. You didn't know it was around the next corner. You heard a zombie just you heard it walking, you heard it scraping, and you didn't know where it was. And you could turn that corner and there it is. And the suspense can get to you more than full on horror. Because it's like, yeah, oh no, there's a dead body there. Right? That's creepy. But after you see it so many times, it's like, okay, there's a dead body there. But when you hear a threat and you don't know where the threat is and you know it's looming closer to you, it builds suspense. And I'm worried that they might be going for a full-on, like, blood and grime and not focusing on the environment and what makes Resident Evil good, the older ones, and just going for a full-on blood and guts. I mean, like, after Resident Evil 5, they kind of went off, I didn't play 6, and I heard mixed things, mostly bad, about Resident Evil 6. And they were kind of getting off track with, like, because this all started back with Resident Evil 4 with the Las Plagas, and, that was a cool game because I liked the way they did it, and they kept on that route with this virus that was in everything, and I don't know, I felt like they just kept going on it. They just kept beating that horse until it was long dead, and it's just like, how many times are you going to do the same thing before it gets boring? But anyways, yeah, no, the one scene I saw, like, it was gross. It was like, Leon was going to help the one guy through the emergency exit, and he pulls him, and the door closes. Well, he gets ripped in half by the zombies. So he's pulling him through. He just pulls his carcass through, and it was just like, okay. And the one black guy beginning the game that points a gun at your head, like, he ends up helping you, I guess, for a good portion of the game, the very start of it. So, I mean, but as I was saying about how, like, Resident Evil 6 was weird. It took Resident Evil 7 to get back onto the track that Resident Evil 1 and 2 had. But, like, I don't know. I have my doubts that I think it's going to be good, but I have my fears that it's going to be just more grime and gore. There's going to be a focus on action and not really, again, the suspense of exploring this police station and finding this sub-basement and finding entire laboratory underneath Raccoon City. Like, I don't know. Again, like The Last of Us, we won't know until it happens. Again, they might change things. Everything might stay the same. I think it was coming out fairly soon. I think October, November, somewhere in there. So, I mean, what was showed at E3, or wherever it was last, was pretty much the final version, but yeah, I don't know. You don't know. I mean, what you see now can change so much, and it's hard to be like, yeah, this would be awesome, and then it ends up just not being what you expected. the last game I remember I was really looking forward to. I was really looking forward to Elder Scrolls Online. Like, I love the Elder Scrolls. And I was like, this is gonna be awesome. My brother was like, you're gonna hate it. It's gonna be horrible. But I'm like, no, no, no. It's gonna be awesome. Elder Scrolls Online with other people to play with. Yeah, it was bad. I remember the first day I got it and I loaded it up. There were server issues. The first day with horrible server issues. I ended up having to go to a European server to play. Little did I know that once I was on that European server, I could not change back to an American server ever without starting a brand new character. Hold on a second. Stop. And my dog's making weird noises. But anyways, so after I finally got on to play, like, the game felt weird. It didn't at all feel like an Elder Scrolls game in the slightest bit. It felt like they took every asset from Elder Scrolls and put it in a completely different game, and it was bad. I mean, it was playable. I played it for like a month straight. I ended up buying one of the packs. I played it for a good while. I really did get into it because it was something new to play, but underneath it all, it was just like, I don't know what they did. I don't know what they were thinking. I think the biggest goof, the biggest thing that I saw was an issue was, I think, if I remember correctly, it was the combat system. Not actually the combat system itself, but it was how you gain experience. I think you only fight so many things in the area so much before you would get experience anymore. Something like that was really something really stupid. Like, the whole game was weird. Like, it was not a good game. I mean, I played worse, but at the same time, you know, whether by them making that, it shows other game developers what not to do. And as bad as it was a stepping stone into other games. Like recently, my friend Kevin I work with suggested I play this one game, Conan Exiles, and he said it was based on the end of the Conan movie, which that's a old movie that had Schwarzenegger in it. But anyways, as I was playing it, I realized it felt a lot like Elder Scrolls Online, and the more I thought about it, I felt like, yeah, this game, Conan Exiles, took pages from Elder Scrolls Online. It was like, okay, this is what we should do, and this is what we shouldn't do. But, you know, again, it's just, that's the way I perceived it. And I played it for a while. I played it for about a month before I just got bored. Like, it just got boring. It just got boring. But yeah, I've been playing on my PS4 a lot. I've been playing Detroit Become Human. That's a really neat game. I've really been enjoying that. Because it reminds me of like the Choose Your Own Adventure books. How like, oh, you met a weird woman in the swamp. Do you want to follow her through the swamp? And it's like, if you do, you might die. And that's how Detroit Beyond Human is, how it's a choose your own adventure. If you mess up or you choose the wrong option, you choose the right option, it changes the story. I don't know how deep it goes. I'm really curious about where it ends, and I really am. I mean, even if I totally screw things up, the fact that I did that, to me, is a neat aspect. But yeah, when you finish a chapter, if a chapter is linear, it'll just have like one path. But if a chapter has multiple endings, it will branch off, and it'll be like, okay, you talked to this person, you told them to go, and da-da-da. So now it leads to this branch, and it goes off in this other path. Or if you did talk to them, it would go to this other branch, and it's interesting that they went for this whole thing. And again, I'm really interested to see where the game ends, because I feel like all the characters are going to meet up, like, and it's going to be a weird ending. And because like they keep saying how like the one guy Marcus, he's like single-handedly going to determine the fate of androids. I'm like, that's crazy. But I feel like my guy Connor too. He's the detective. He's a detective android, and I feel like he's doing his job. But I feel like what he's doing might also contribute into showing how useful androids are. And when Kara is showing what happens to deviants, they get abused and they have enough and they go off their programming. So I mean, it's interesting. It really is. Let's see. Also, I downloaded 3 games tonight. I'm going to try and play them all. Got these off of I think it was Game Joel. I got these off of. Got Forsaken Castle. It's kind of like a hack game. It's a kind of weird horror game. And that was descriptive, wasn't it? I've been trying to play more horror games because, to me, in a horror game, when I'm like, blah, I'm like freaking out, or honest to goodness, like jump scare, I'm like, like, to me, people like watching that because they're like, oh, he's having a reaction. That's funny. So I've been trying to play more horror games. But I'm trying to play different games too. I'm trying to play, adventure games. But nothing boring because you don't want to watch. I'm not anybody famous. You want to watch me play a game for 20 episodes because you get bored after the first one. But, so I mean, yeah, I'm trying to do what I can, to play different games and to branch out. Let's see, what else? Like I was like, look at my poster here in the wall. Like I remember back when we're not friends anymore. Me and my one friend Rob, we used to play GTA 5 like so much. Like we played GTA 5 like every day. And I miss those days. I miss days back when it first started, and there was the armored trucks to still pick up, and like making money was something to do to buy stuff, but it wasn't the main focus. And as the modders became more into the light and all that stuff, and the hackers, they had to make it so money was something you had to have, or you couldn't do anything. And all that did was make it so you had to hack to play. And my friend and Rob actually ended up buying a modded account that had a lot of money on it just to enjoy the game. And it's like, that's ridiculous. Because like, the amount of money they wanted for something simple was outrageous. And then it became this whole annoying thing where, okay, you have a modded account, you have, $90 billion. But now you have to have friends to do these missions, to unlock these vehicles, or unlock this armor, or unlock this house, or this and that and that. That got annoying too. But first off, I don't have a lot of friends. It was me and Rob, like that was it. So most of the time I was by myself because he worked a lot. So thank you GTA for reinforcing it by myself. Appreciate that. And second off, if you didn't even find a friend to play with, you better hope they don't suck or you don't suck. If they suck, you'll never finish the mission. If you suck, you're holding them back. So, I mean, I understood what they were doing with that. I completely understand, but they alienated a lot of people, and yeah, they solved a lot of issues, but they created a ton more. And then they do these updates, and they would just make 50 million things worse in the blink of an eye. They would update, and they would do a patch, and it would just And I got bored of GTA 5 because like I used to play it all the time. I bought it for when I first moved to where I am now. I bought it for my 360, and then I bought it again for my Xbox One. Like I loved that game. It was awesome. Me and my brother played it. Me and my friend played it. And we started a crew and we had, so much fun and so many good memories. But my friend Rob got weird. He started getting too serious about the game, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. And I do miss him because, I mean, we were good friends. As annoying as he was, we were good friends. And I know for me, friends are a hard thing to find. But, I made that decision to get rid of him because I dreaded when he would come on because it was just like the fun we used to have playing GTA 5 was gone, and it was just like, no, all I want to do is mess around because that's what I enjoy doing. I just want to have fun. I don't feel like doing a mission 5 million times. I don't feel like having to grind for hours. I'd rather just mess around and just do wacky things and have fun. But my friend Rob always wanted to do missions. He wanted to do the same mission. He wanted to do it for hours. And yeah, we made a lot of money. We got a lot of experience. We leveled up a lot. I was level 120 time I was done. And I'm really proud of that. But at the same time, it was like, all for what? Now, I'm not playing it because I'm bored of it. I don't ever play it again. By the time I do play it again, the servers will probably be offline, which means my character, everything I did, everything I worked towards will be absolutely nothing. I was one of the first people to play GTA 5 online because I actually got a little story behind that. I think I just reached level 20. I was doing pretty good by myself. I was playing with my friend. We were doing really good. Had a level 20 character. Really proud of him. And went to go on one day, and things weren't right. My character basically got like messed up on Rockstar server, and I lost him. All those months of playing and just messing around and getting my original character at level 20 gone. In the blink of an eye, it was gone. I was just like, what the heck? And I tried, making a report and sending it to Rockstar and be like, hey, this is what happened to me. I understood they couldn't fix it, but I tried to make a report so at least they would know what happened. And I ended up grinding, I think, that next day, and I got my new character back to level 20 within an actual day. That was crazy. I was about to go bug-eyed trying to do that. I was doing this one mission. I just did it like just a bazillion times. That was like the one night when I was playing. I was working towards buying my first house in the game, and I was doing the one mission, a titan of a job. And that mission at the time was paying, I think, 10 grand, I think, per mission. All you had to do was go in there, kill a bunch of mercenaries, steal the plane, land it, you were done. You do that, back when you could. You did it like 10 times. In a couple hours or in an hour, you have so much money well, the reason I'm saying all this is because I worked hard and I got all the money I needed to buy a house. Well, the ironic thing is that next day, that was when they did a patch to the first patch for all the money to make it so that things more realistic. How jobs didn't pay as much as they were. Oh, that was a horrible patch. That patch screwed so many things up. Like missions, you used to pay a lot, paid a little, and it was like, well, what's the point of doing this one? And missions that used to pay a lot for the work entailed in it were paying nowhere near what you should have gotten for it. It was like, what the heck did you do? You tried to make things better and you made them 10 times worse. I think like a year or so later they issued the second patch, which I think they did like 2 or 3 patches on the money just to get it fixed. Such a mess. The one thing I missed was the armored trucks. Because like, it was cool they were in the game and you could rob the armored trucks and you can get the money. Well, that was also used to be available in GTA 5 Online. You used to be able to steal these random armored trucks and get the money from them. Well, for some reason or another, Rockstar decided, hey, let's have the percentage of those so low they'll basically never happen again. Because my friend Rob at the time, he either called Rockstar or sent him an email, and they told him that they made the percentage so low. The basically so low it will never happen. It's probably like a bazillion to 1 chance of you seeing an armored truck ever again in your life. And it's just like, I don't understand why they did that. And the one thing I remember, I never got a chance to actually use it. Back when they first started, they had the ability to give players money. Like, just, your friend needed 5,000, give him 5,000, $200, $5, whatever it was. You went to your inventory and you just give player money. And it was, I never got a chance to use it because the time I joined in, either it wasn't enabled yet or it was already causing issues and they already disabled it at that point I was on. I'm not sure what happened. Eventually they got rid of the whole thing because if you had a friend that had a modded account and they had infinite money, all you gotta do was transfer, again, $1 bazillion to you, and there you go, you got money. But that was the other thing too. I keep just like hopping around here on subjects. So, for those that don't know, I'm trying to figure out the word this right. All right. If you had a modded account at the time of GTA 5, with one update, you lost all your money. All right, that was no big deal. But here was the other thing. Like, people thought, okay, I'll just get it back in increments. Well, apparently, too, Rockstar set up a way that it would flag a large amount of money incoming, like a bank would do, the incoming, outgoing. So if a large amount of money went into your account was flagged, and I guess you were banned. I never found out about that. I'd heard about it, but I mean, there's always ways around it. I mean, I don't know what my one friend Steven, who's now down in Florida, he showed me this one mod for the GTA 5 for the PC. And that was so cool because it had walk through walls and you could hover around the map, and it was so cool. Like, that's probably one of the main reasons why I wanted my nice computer was to play. Because at the time I had a crappy little laptop, and this thing was just horrible, and I couldn't run barely anything. I could run like minor games until I got my nice PC I have here. This thing is so powerful it can it's meant to run Oculus Rift, which I actually ended up buying, which is freaking awesome, by the way. Yeah, I'm bored of it now because I played it for like a while, and but yeah, playing Minecraft in VR. Like, again, for like a month, I played that like straight. I got so into it. Could it reminded me of like back in the day of playing with Legos. How you make this little house and you could like, get really close into it and pretend like you're actually in it. And that's how this was. You make this house and then you're in it in this virtual environment, and it was so trippy. But falling was just yeah, for some reason falling in third person in Minecraft, I know for me, caused me some slight nausea, because it's just like um your brain thinks you're moving and your eyesight's going with it, but there's no momentum, so it throws off your brain. And it's probably worse and it's probably better for certain people, but it can cause nausea because it's a weird sensation. Your brain thinks you're falling, but there's no motion, so it's like it confuses you. Yeah, but Minecraft in VR was like one of the neatest things. Like when I first started playing it, I was just like, "This is awesome! This is like the best thing." Sorry, and then I played VR chat for a while. VR chat was that was awesome too. Um, it was a little buggy through Steam. I had a fair amount of issues trying to get into it. Like I had to fight to get into it. Because at times, I don't know if it was just the issue with Steam or it was the issue with my Oculus Rift, because it seems to be a little tardy. Sometimes my motion controllers wouldn't show up right, and I have to like quit out and keep trying until it finally was like, "Oh, you want to play normally? Okay, sure. Let's do it like that." Oh, when I first started playing that, oh my god, I forgot all about that. When I first opened VR chat for the very, very first time, I had so many issues because, like, for some reason, my my X, Y, and Z axis, where it places you in a virtual environment, you're supposed to be in any game. You're supposed to be on the ground. Yeah, I was below it, like about here. My eyesight was like bordering between the top of the ground and below the ground. And I don't know what I did to fix it, but I eventually got it to work right. And like, but it was just so weird. But if you haven't played VR yet, I mean, unless you have really bad motion sickness, I would definitely recommend it. Um, I mean, mine was about, I think, $400. I got it off of Best Buy. And when I first started playing it, one of the first things I did was the Google Maps. Like, Google Maps by itself is awesome, but Google Maps in VR, like, for those that know, Google Maps has a thing called Street View, how you can go into a first person on a given street as long as the view is available. And doing it on a computer is awesome, but doing it in VR, you feel like you're actually there. I mean, like I was standing on the beach in California because this guy did a 360 shot, and I was standing on the beach in California. Like, that was awesome. I got to be on the Golden Gate Bridge. I was looking up at it, and it was so trippy because you felt like you were there. And I went a little off coast, and I was looking at the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was just like, it was so awesome. So I mean, like, just Google Maps alone for VR is like the best thing. Like that was awesome. Just doing that. I did that forever, and I slowly started to branch out to other games, but unfortunately, I have a very small room, so VR doesn't work very well. Like my ceiling is super low. Like if I stand up, all right, I'm a tall person. I'm about 6 foot. Um, so here's my head. All right, let me slouch on a little bit, and there's my ceiling. Like if I put my hand up and I'm standing, I'll go poof, right into my ceiling. Like it's that low. It's horrible. So I mean, if you're in a small room, unfortunately, VR it'll work, but if a game involves you to move in a virtual environment, you will have a lot of issues. Like a game like Minecraft, you have the ability to actually move around the virtual environment, and but you can also use the controller to come with it. So I mean, but some games literally want you to like duck in real time and and move, and it's hard if you can't have the space. So if you're thinking about getting VR, make sure you have the space to do it. Make sure you have the proper room to do it, because it's like that was one thing I didn't know about, and it wasn't a huge issue. My room is big enough that it wasn't a huge hindrance, but it was something I didn't think about. And at least if you do want to do it, at least make sure you can move it to another room while you're doing it, so that that you have the space allowed to do it. But like VR is so neat, it's so trippy. And I've been to so many places, virtual rides. I mean, like where I am now in West Virginia, I'm not actually from West Virginia. I'm actually from Manahawkin, New Jersey. It's actually my hometown, but I moved to West Virginia. And I've been here for 4 years now, but I know nothing about the surrounding area because I don't get out much. I don't have any friends that want to show me around. So a lot was up to me to walk, but I can't. I mean, West Virginia is freaking huge. I mean, it's a huge state, and there's so much of it just in my area alone that I can't see. But with VR, I was able to explore a lot of the surrounding areas and see a lot of things. And I think the best thing with VR for Google Maps is like, let's say you're taking a trip to, out to like Oklahoma or a place near in Nevada or wherever you're going to. If you're going from New York to Maine, and you've never been to Maine, or you're going from New York to Texas. I mean, and you're trying to find a certain hotel, or you're trying to find a certain route. Like, using Google Maps on the computer is good, because, I mean, you can get a sense of the environment and what's around you. But using it in VR, like, again, you feel like you're there. So, it gives you a much better idea of what you're looking at and where you are. So I mean, I think the best thing too is just like people who are disabled who can't, we take walking for granted, and there's so many people who can't walk on their own accord. So I mean, with VR, they're able to get out into the world, virtually at least, and explore it. And it's not the same, but it's better than nothing. I mean, getting my VR was like one of the best things I did. I mean, it was a lot of money, but it was worth it, definitely. Let's see what else. So my Nintendo Switch, I actually had, again, one of the first couple hundred made. And actually it was kind of funny. At the time Nintendo Switch was out, I was a door greeter at Walmart. And we would handle returns. So when a return would come in, we would have to process it, and it would go to customer service. Well, one of the people I worked with was this older gentleman named Jim. he bought a Nintendo Switch for his niece, I think, but the parents already bought her one. So as he was returning it, I don't remember how it exactly came up, but he ended up being like, "Hey, do you want this?" I mean, obviously I had to pay him for it, but he's like, "Hey, do you want this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want this. This is awesome." I wanted to buy a Switch, but it was like you couldn't find them anywhere at that time. They were like impossible to find, and he gave it to me free that day. I was getting paid the very next day, and I went in and gave him the money, and I had a Nintendo Switch, just like that. So I mean, that was awesome. And I got to play Breath of the Wild. I mean, Breath of the Wild. There's a whole other thing to talk about. If you haven't played Breath of the Wild for Nintendo Switch, and you're a Zelda fan, for the love of peanut butter, play Breath of the Wild. It is an awesome game. I played it to death. I played it for like a year straight. I'm now burned out. I can't touch it anymore because I'm just so bored of it. But for that time I played of it, like, when the first thing I did, it was really cool. Was I had to cross this gorge, and I couldn't cross it properly because I didn't have enough stamina to jump off the ledge, to climb the other side, and I ended up getting my bombs and blowing up a tree near me, and having it fall over the gorge and making a makeshift bridge. And just that one instance right there of that one thing was just like, holy crap, that's amazing. Like, the different weapons, the overworld, and just the exploration. The only problem I had, I know the world was supposed to be destroyed, but it was utterly quiet. But it was supposed to be, I think, like a remake of the original Zelda. Like, I think that's why it was so quiet, because they were trying to more or less reimagine, I think, the original Zelda, how the original Zelda was just a blank overworld. But I have like so many pictures of that game. Like, I just kept doing screenshots of like everything I did, and then when they came up with the movie feature, the little like GIF feature, or GIF, how you want to pronounce it, and I started doing that to my Twitter. Yeah, my Twitter account, and I was posting videos of that, the little little GIF or GIF movies to my Twitter, and I loved it. That was like one of the best experience I had playing a game with like that long, was playing Breath of the Wild. Like, it was such a neat game. Um, and unfortunately, Miyamoto died before the game actually came out, and that was so long ago that he died. But it's just like, it's crazy. Whenever I think that Miyamoto died, it's just like, holy crap. Because one of the best, his favorite thing in Breath of the Wild was the ability to climb. That was like the one thing that he absolutely like loved. I think now it's Namua. I can't. The name's in my head. I can't. But the guy that has the reins behind Zelda now, he's been working with Miyamoto for a long time. So I hope the next Zelda game will be, just as good, if not better, than Breath of the Wild. I really, really hope so. But I played so many games through the years, because it's funny watching YouTube and watching like the Game Grumps playing like the original Goonies 2. Like, I ended up playing Goonies 2 as a kid, and it's just like they're playing it now and getting views, or watching um the Angry Video Game Nerd, reviewing older games. Again, I have played a lot of those games, and it's just like, it's crazy. Because I'm 35. I'm playing video games for like all my life. I started back on the original Nintendo. I played Super Mario Brothers and The Legend of Zelda, Cyberpunk, and so many games I rented from Mr. Movie, which is a store back in New Jersey at the time. Star Tropics. So many games I played. A lot of them I don't remember anymore. Played the heck out of Super Mario 1, 2, and 3. Remember, I found actually 2 secrets because I got bored in Super Mario 2 and Super Mario 3. I remember in Super Mario 2, the second world, like the second actual like segment of worlds. There was a part where there was this big waterfall. My hands are a little off. It was a big waterfall, and you had to like jump onto these clouds to move up to the next part. And as a kid, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna jump down this waterfall and just die because I don't really care. And as I jumped down the waterfall, I started falling and kept falling and kept falling and kept falling, and eventually I reached the bottom. I died because I wasn't paying attention because I didn't think anything would be down there, but there was this little tiny spit of an island and a little door, and it was just like, wait, what? Like, why is this here? And as a kid, like, my mind was like blown, and like, you saw the bottom of the waterfall, and it was just like this still picture, and like, it was mind-boggling. And I never did the same in Super Mario 3. I was in Dark World when the last section. I was a little before Bowser. I was just getting bored. I was playing it for a while, and it was one of the dark levels. That was at these sand traps, and I remember I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm just bored. I'm gonna die, and then just turn it off. So I went to stand at one of the quicksand traps, and I started going through the game, and I was like, where the heck am I going? And it dropped me in this little secret tunnel. And again, it's just like, I found a secret because I wanted to freaking kill myself in a game, and I find this amazing secret. And it's funny. I never let back. Yeah, actually, this is my second YouTube channel too. I had my original one. I started a YouTube channel a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. I used to do glitch videos for like old NES games, Super NES games. Because at the time, it's all I had set up in my room. I didn't have the money for any of the newer systems. I had a PlayStation, but games were made pretty well on the PlayStations. I couldn't find the glitches. But I remember I had my little Vivitar camera, and I had my chair, and I set everything up, and I pointed the camera at the TV to capture what was on screen. It's just, well, long story short, I goofed twice, and I lost that channel due to copyright infringement, and because I made 2 videos with copyright music, and at the time I was a kid, I wasn't paying attention. I just, yeah, I lost that channel. Or I went on one day and I was like, where is it? And yeah, they deleted it. So I was a little bummed over that. All the work I did, all the hard work I did making those videos with that camera. I think I made another channel like a year or so later. I ended up remaking the old glitch videos, but on my computer at the time, because in that time span, I moved rooms and I was in a different house, and my Nintendo and Super Nintendo were packed away. I had my PS3 and 360 at the time, so all I had available was that emulator. So I recreated those glitch videos in that emulator, but I don't know what happened to those videos because they're not on my page. Well, I guess I had another page at a different email address that probably either still exists or I don't know. To look that up now. Never a nerd glitch I found was in Half-Life 2, the Orange Box edition. Not that it mattered, but I don't think it mattered. I actually made a video that I haven't recreated since. I think it was in the sand traps. I was on the beach when like the middle of the game basically, and I was about to fight the Antlion Queen. But I was trying to glitch out of the boundaries. I was trying to see what was behind the game, and I remember I stacked a bunch of like boxes up and barrels, and I ended up getting on this ledge fairly high up, but I couldn't get any higher. So I started walking forward, and I ended up falling off eventually. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just keep going on. And as I was walking down the pathway, I realized the Ant Queen never spawned. And I realized where the hideout should have been for the rebels, for my guys, wasn't there. And ultimately I realized that I skipped a loading zone. I actually went up and over it. And I ended up recreating that, and I was like, wow, I have found a legit glitch, like a legit 100% glitch. That was just like the biggest thing for me. Like, I have found glitches, but never one that amazing. But it gets better. It gets better. So I'm looking around this area. You know, there's a giant gaping hole in the mountain where the entrance to the hideout should be. I'm like, can I go through that? I'll probably end up dying. I figured I'll probably end up just falling, through the map and hitting the abyss at the bottom and dying. Well, the funny thing was I didn't die. I got hurt. I went through it and I fell a fair distance. And I hit the ground. And I was like, okay, I'm not dead. I looked up, saw the map above me. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm underneath the game. So I started looking around, and I saw this tiny little room. Well, I thought it was a room, off in the wee distance. And I was like, what the heck is that out there? So, naturally, curiosity got the best of me, and I went to explore it. Well, got out there. It was a giant friggin' orange box. And, like, the joke is, there was an orange box in the orange box. Like, because it had Half-Life 2, Team Fortress, and Portal. It was called the Orange Box. So there was literally a giant orange box in the orange box. I don't know what that was. I never did figure out. I tried shooting it. I tried hitting it with my crowbar, and like it did nothing. I don't know if it was supposed to be an enemy placement or if it was a trigger. If it was an unused whatever. Like, but yeah, I used to love glitching games. Like, it's hard to do now. Because, like, games are made so much better. Not saying you can't, but it's harder to. It really is. Oh, I think I'm about done here. But, thank you so much for watching. I'll definitely try to do more of these. I enjoy doing that, but I'm getting seriously tired right now. But, yeah, I mean, do more of these little game talks. I enjoy talking about games and my experiences with the games. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. And I hope you have a great day or night.